I'm Cheri.
Cheri.
Pleasure to meet you.
I'm Tom.
Tom, Chase, pleasure
Nice
to meet you.
Chase.
Yeah, thank y'all for joining us for the tour today.
Great to be here.
Yeah, hey, Jake mentioned someone was on the tour asking for permission to record.
Right.
And I can't give it to you, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, no live video shoot.
Your permission to record you for YouTube?
We've been turned down twice to film. Why?
What are they hiding?
This has never been filmed before. Oh my gosh, look at that. That's not what you want to see. Oh, what? That is also not normal.
Not normal at all.
So this is like never before on YouTube.
Never. This is a
Never
YouTube
filmed.
exclusive.
Why can't you film, right? What are you hiding? We feel like we're advocates for the RV owner.
Yep.
Like we've been advocating for better built RVs since the beginning, since our very first RV, and having challenges with that. You wouldn't even know it, and your RV's been infested.
Yep, you have no idea.
You're literally getting walls that already have some damage. You guys are expanding when everybody else is kind of cutting back. So how do you finance all of this?
So, that's a great question.
I'm Tom.
And I'm Cheri.
And we're EnjoyTheJourney.Life.
Here is our PDI facility, which stands for pre-delivery inspection.
Okay.
Every unit at Alliance is guaranteed pre-delivery inspection because we have a dedicated dedicated space per plant, which you only do one brand per plant. So right here is our PDI facility for valve. This is the smallest of the PDI lines, which is 2 lines because we have corporate behind that wall up there. The other 2 facilities basically have a 3rd line, so it's a little bit bigger. But the line, so it gets pulled out that door, which was right behind us, turned around, drained, turned around, and comes back in this way. And then you got about 3 stations on each side. And everyone, this is Ab Soleil.
Oh, we're live.
He will be on YouTube.
Okay, cool.
He's our product manager, the general manager for the Avenue line.
Okay.
Soon be Plant 1.
Right.
Okay.
I think what's really cool though is obviously you've got a wall here between production and PDI, and PDI is its own team, right? It is though. It's not like we have production building a unit and then getting to check their homework, if you will, right? Each unit gets
Graded.
That gets graded by a separate team.
Yep.
So we have a different set of eyes on it.
Yep.
And they're not PDIing a Paradigm or a Delta or an Avenue. They get to see Valors every single day, so they know exactly what they're looking for.
Yep.
So I think it really it makes that process real tight.
And how common is the smoke test?
From my knowledge, we're the only ones doing it.
Really? Okay.
I'm not aware of any other manufacturer doing smoke tests. If there's any type of plumbing issue, say a line, say it didn't get secured right and it popped loose like I talked about earlier, it's just going to pump smoke out into the unit and we're going to see it because they'll open all the doors, all the cabinets, everything, and they walk around that unit for about 10 to 20 minutes.
Wow.
Looking for any level of detail. And then what should happen is they'll have a person standing out here. Everything should be going directly out of the tank because they're getting pumped in. So the tanks are getting filled, all of them, and then they should just go right out the vent on the top.
So this is like never before on YouTube.
Never. This is a
Never
YouTube
filmed.
exclusive. No pressure. So it's just your everyday fog machine that you can buy from a Halloween store.
Oh, okay, sure.
And
We use smoke bombs. Smoke bombs got really, we use a lot of them. And it would be, it's really, this is more, it's safer.
it's definitely safer.
Safer for the environment, safer for our workers.
Yes. And that goes back into the thing I talked about a lot is about, we want to take care of our employees, and that's something that they're constantly thinking about, and why use smoke bombs when we can just have a fog machine.
Right. Well, that sounds kind of crazy, smoke bombs.
Yeah, smoke bombs, they smoke for a whole minute and they fill the whole area up, and it just wasn't safe for everybody.
You know what's funny? I come from a DJ background, so we used to use these things.
Yeah.
You know,
They are multifunctional.
yeah, it's funny.
So he turned it on. There's a little blower that basically blows the smoke, pumps it through, goes in.
Warm up.
Yeah.
It warms up. It's just like a regular fog machine.
Yep.
And then you guys go have a dance party over there in the employee lounge, huh?
We need to get some disco balls. Bring the
Right.
speakers over.
There you go.
So funny you say that. So we actually, when we launched our Delta product, we used Plant 3 PDI. They love me over there. Stealing their facility for 2 days.
A lot more room.
Yeah, they got more room over there. But we did. We had a team come in, and we had about 1,200 people that came to this event, and it was really cool. If you haven't seen the Delta launch, definitely go look at the Delta launch on our YouTube.
Oh, cool.
That's RV.
So first thing I'll do is I'll check the pass through, and I'll go up to the bathroom, and I'll make sure the smoke's come out the big up top. See that?
It goes.
Oh, yeah.
It's blowing.
When the smoke goes top, I know when I can pull all the vent takes in.
You can see it
Smoke
coming
better.
out.
Check the pass through.
But you want to see it on the roof, right?
The roof is on fire. That's not what you want to see with your RV.
All the vents on the roof are working perfect, you can see.
Oh my gosh, look at that. Subscribe to our channel for more RV, e-bike, and travel related videos. You can actually scan this QR code right here with your smartphone. That will get you subscribed and you'll be able to catch all of our videos.
Come in here.
That is cool.
So now Adam's in the bathroom up in the
Okay.
So we got the HEPA valve. So there's a HEPA valve on each one of these units. So if it was, the HEPA valve is bad, be blowing out that. That's our main reason why we're doing it. Check the HEPA valve. There's no leaks in the walls. It'll be coming out of the ceiling. Sometimes if it's in the walls, it'll come out of the vents. And all that good stuff.
Wow.
And then there's a lot of smoke in the unit. I'm checking all the black pipe. And of course the toilets. If the toilets were not sealed right, it'll come out from the back of the toilets. Same way with it'll bubble, like we have our water in our toilet right now, it'll bubble out of there if it was smoke leaking in there. You have to seal in the right on the bottom, the leak out of the bottom of that. And that's it. So before we do all that, we pull the vent, the mushroom caps off the vent pipes, and we check all this for blockages and screw holes or whatever, screws through them. And other than that, it works fine. So this one passed.
Wow. Well, thank you for that demonstration. Who came up with this idea?
Was it Charles?
I think Charles did another building plant, maybe, where he used to work, maybe.
Okay, yeah. So
Wow.
Charles, he's one of our quality guys that works across the board at Alliance for all the brands. Comes up with some pretty cool ideas that really just always improve.
Yeah, and so what do other manufacturers do to double check for stuff like this? Or do they?
So I'm only aware of what one other manufacturer does, actually two, and I know what they'll do is they'll fill it online at one station and drain it at that station, and then one unit from every plant gets taken to a separate facility, and they do a full system check on that one unit from the whole bin. So
Okay, one unit, but that doesn't mean there weren't mistakes in the other units.
yeah, but you're having manufacturers now building dedicated PDI facilities. We're the first one to PDI every single unit, no matter what.
Really?
Yeah, so every single unit that comes through gets PDI.
Okay, I thought that was just that every unit for every manufacturer had some form.
Yeah,
of
it's
that.
starting to happen slowly.
Okay.
But specifically for this for Alliance, we do everyone, but not
Wow.
every manufacturer does that.
Wow.
Look at this.
This is what we used to use, smoke bomb, lasts for 1 minute. That's a lot of smoke.
That's a lot of smoke.
A lot of smoke for 1 minute. And the
Wow.
smell is horrible.
Yeah, it's a firework.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not safe. So yeah,
That
fog machine's safe, easy to use, good, no impact on the environment. So yeah, and also this is a 2024 Valor.
Yeah.
This garage lights.
Yeah, that's super cool.
This is more of a product thing, but yeah, people would complain that the lights used to get put actually under the bed, so you would have no light. So what we did is we moved the lights out and put the LED strip in. So now that you have a lot of light back here, even when the gate's closed.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool, and I love these solid glass here. I've got the plastic on mine, so it's like, oh.
Sounds like you need a valve.
I think so.
I can make that happen.
All right.
So there, again, there's the counters probably had a little issue, so they removed them and they're going to put new ones on.
Okay.
So that's kind of one of the things that were checked. Or it could have been a shortage issue and they weren't put on online and they just haven't got the counters yet, because that's also a possibility as well.
I love the colors that you guys are doing in here.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
gray. And then we changed the floors and we got a white wallboard and a white ceiling.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a favorite, the side patio. Oh my
Side
gosh.
patio. People love our side patio. It's my favorite floor plan. So you said you were a DJ? Imagine if you were a musician or something, you could put your band out here.
Right.
Like, that's a great thing. We have some friends that are, they're avid dog people. And this is actually what they use for their dog area.
Okay.
Because, at campsites, a lot of times these ballards are big. They're not able to put their back gate.
Yes.
But now with a side patio, they just have it down. Because you still have outdoor camping space up there.
Right. Yeah, that's the beauty of the side deck like that.
Yep. And there is an entry step. If you want to put it here, it comes with the unit. This hooks on right here.
Okay.
And walk right up. Right here. And what we do in our shipyard is we actually paved it all with asphalt because we want to protect your asset. At a lot of other OEMs, it's going to sit in a gravel or grass lot. We also have rodent control all the way around it. So you're not going to have anything like that. So we took all the time and money and energy. There's safety lights all around it. There's security cameras all around it. So there's never we really want to protect your guys' investment. So we put asphalt out there.
That is such a cool thing to mention. I was just thinking when you said, brand new RV sitting on a dirt lot or a grassy lot, you get rodents in there and you wouldn't even know it and your RV's been infested.
Yep, you have no idea.
Yeah.
And I know that being a lifetime Elkhart County resident, I've seen all the different lots that there are. And I can tell you some are just grass, some are rocks, some are mud. And if you kind of look around, you might see some groundhogs, you might see some other stuff, and they like to get up into stuff. And so we put rodent control out here, making sure that everything's taken care of. We put a native species in the pond to control bugs, so that way you're not going to attract a lot of other bird species. You're really only going to get like some of the natural native species coming here. We've planted wildflowers all the way around. There's a lot of things that went into making sure that this is a nice, safe spot to park your unit until it gets to the dealership.
And Alliance is privately owned, right?
Alliance is privately owned by the Brady brothers. There's a couple other investors as well, but Ryan and Coley Brady are the primary investors, and they're the owners.
Well, I think there's something cool to be said about being privately owned as opposed to having to answer to a bunch of stockholders so concerned about money. Yeah, so to speak on that a little bit, I've come from another large competitor that was not privately owned, and to get something done, it frequently was a lot of red tape I had to go through. And here, you have something you want to do, go directly to the owner of the company and be like, hey, I want to do this thing, or hey, I have 3 options for something. Which one do you like best? And then you're able to shift on a dime, right? You can stay nimble. And that's something that will always be really important to the Brady brothers as well, is being able to stay nimble, always adapt, and make the product the best it can possibly be without red tape. That's awesome.
Yeah. This is the 380 MP. Obviously, look, we got the engineer and
all right
in there working on it right now.
Cool.
So, talk about relentless improvement and constantly changing. We got Tom Roos, who's our Plant 2 engineer, paradigm engineer. He's in there looking at stuff so that when he's on the computer drawing CAD files and stuff, he's seeing it in real life to make adjustments that he needs. And you got Georgie, who's one of the assistant plant managers that can help drive the change and explain what's going on from the physical level.
Okay. Interesting. This is another brand new, never seen before model here, 380 MP.
380, so it's very similar to a 390. You've seen a 390 in the past. So what we did, it's still a mid bunk, but we added the slider.
Okay.
So they're constantly working on how to make that work better and more efficient and make it more user friendly.
And I heard something about that you guys kind of overbuild your suspension a little bit. Is that?
Yes. So we do overbuild. We have constantly done that. We always overrate the axles, the tires, and the suspension to just make it a safer ride across the board, no matter what. We also do on our Paradigm and Valor lineup offer the more ride independent suspension as well.
Okay.
Do option that on. It's an option. It's not standard, but you can option more ride independent suspension.
That's awesome. I mean, you guys, is it more ride right around here, aren't they?
More ride's literally on the other side of the trees.
Oh, okay.
Talk about storage envy.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. Oh, what? Look at all of that.
Is this where the rainbow ended the other day? Yeah. So we'll tour it in a little bit.
I have never seen that kind of a storage setup before, so that's cool.
Okay. Yep. So this is the first floor plan of the 380 MP. So we're probably not going to put another couple online until this one's dialed in. I don't know when this will be dialed in at this point in time, but I imagine in about month and a half, you'll start seeing these at dealer lots.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you're new to the RV life or even experienced, I have a course that you can get available for free. It's the beginner's guide to RVing, and it's through RV Life or RV Trip Wizard. So if you are already a member, you can get this course completely for free. And as you may have heard me mention before, we love our RV Life and RV Trip Wizard membership, because that's how we navigate through the country and make sure we stay on RV safe roads. We keep track of our entire camping schedule, and it's just great being able to input all the campgrounds that we're going to be staying at and the dates, and then it tells us the route to take. We love it. Actually, I'll put a QR code right here so you can just scan it with your smartphone. And actually, I'll give you a code here on the screen that will save you 25% off of your membership. Yes. And then you can go to RV Masterclass, which is part of RV Life, and find my course. And again, there'll be a link to this down below in the description and the pinned comment, as well as our other favorite camping apps.
So, another kind of exclusive for you. This is Plant 4, brand new. We're not even occupying the building yet. They're still doing a lot of work inside. There's no doors, no windows. They just finished the roof this week.
Wow.
If you go to our Instagram, you can see a helicopter actually had to come to finish putting the stuff we needed on the roof. Because the building is so long, there's no cranes out there that could reach where it needed to go.
Okay.
Yeah. So we had to bring in a helicopter to actually finish the building.
Wow. What is going to be in this one?
So this is where we, once Avenue is done running their production in Plant 1, Avenue is moving over here.
Okay.
So, but this facility is large enough for 2 lines. So it's essentially it's a double line plant. So you're only going to have it's essentially 2 plants in one.
Okay.
So while that's one brand right there, we will eventually have another brand. We're just planning ahead, right? Yeah, so this building is the largest building we have. It's prepped and ready to have a 5th brand if we do ever bring that on. Right now, I can safely say there are no plans as of July 2023. Ask me again in 2 years. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to run Avenue through one side of this.
Okay.
Yep, so then you'll have front plant will be Valor, Plant 2 will be Paradigm, Plant 3 will be Delta, and then this will be Avenue.
What would be the next brand to add?
That's a great question. I get asked that so frequently. That was one of the top questions at the rally this year.
Really?
I don't see us ever going into the wood construction. Is that motorized? Are we going to do adventure class trailers? Are we going to do, I don't know. It's unknown. There's a lot of different directions we could go.
Okay.
And right now, I will say that there are no plans to bring on a 5th brand at this point in time.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean it could change tomorrow.
Right.
With the way the industry is, if the industry all of a sudden picks up and there's a need for a segment, we now are ready and prepped to add a segment if we need it.
Well, I guess I've heard the RV industry kind of leads the overall market. Like as RV sales
indicator.
goes up or down, that's what's going to happen to the economy
Yeah.
a little bit later.
So traditionally, looking at historical data, growing up in Elkhart County, my mom being an economy teacher, if you look at RV sales in general, RV it's a disposable income thing, right? It's a luxury item. You don't need an RV. Some people, I think some mentalities are shifting in the American culture to where you don't necessarily want to settle down forever. I would say some of the younger generations are wanting to be a little bit more nomadic, work remotely, things like that. There's some of that going on that I think you can't predict in the economic situations. Traditionally speaking, though, based on historical data, you do see RV tend to be one of the indicator industries as far as recession, not recession. Yeah, so if RV sales are down, you're typically going into, hey, people aren't spending money, they're being a little bit more conservative with their funds. But if people are buying RVs, that means that people are spending money, they're making money. COVID was weird, right? And I don't necessarily think it was people made a lot of money, I think it was people had time.
Right.
And when you finally have time, which is a commodity, and you don't always have time because you have to work, I'm going to go tour the country in an RV. Why not? I've talked to countless people that sold their house and are now RVing full time.
Right. With COVID and the big push to go work at home and technology, so many people working at home, I can just live in my RV, which it becomes not a luxury item, it can become a budget item.
100%.
So
100%. I one day would love to sell my house and go camping full time. I have to be here with the products.
Right.
And I'm lucky enough that I do get to camp a couple times a year in the product, so I get to scratch that itch. It is an indicator product right now, but I do see a shift in the American culture and Canadian and Mexican and every culture that outdoor space. We have newer technologies around internet, newer technologies around fuel efficient cars and trucks and things like that, to where it's not, you still have to buy a truck to tow some of these fifth wheels and travel trailers, but it's not as expensive to tow it nowadays.
Right.
Because the trucks have gotten more efficient while the gas prices have fallen. So there's kind of this ebb and flow, and there was a lot of things that happened during COVID, and a lot of people bought, and hopefully we can keep a lot of those people in units. And then wanted to re-upgrade here in a couple of years.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
So you'll fill that space with something.
It will be filled with something. I know I have plans for the space for video production for a little while. Because if no one's going to be over there, I can put some units over there, shoot some videos on them, out of the rain, out of the snow.
Sure.
Because, 6 months of the year, it's snowy and rainy here. So.
Right.
So I'll have a nice, dry, warm space to film.
Cool.
But basically, it's going to be set up very similar to the other buildings. So the front half is going to be PDI, but instead of running like I call it elephant style, like nose to tail, we're actually going to run them like a line you would on a production line. So the front half of this building, which is huge, is going to be solely pre-delivery inspection PDI. And then that very last door down there at the end is a dedicated rain bay.
Okay.
Which basically we're going to pull, as many units as we possibly can get into a single day, and we're going to fully test them in the rain for 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
To look for leaks and stuff, and you're gonna have a staff that will be inside the unit looking for leaks at any point in time. And it sprays with a ton of pressure. I don't know the PSI off the top of my head, but it sprays with a lot of pressure so that it's like the rain is coming from all angles.
Okay.
Yep.
You have a rain bay now?
We do not have a rain bay
okay.
now. Yeah, so that's a new addition for coming up here real soon when this building's done.
Cool.
Yeah. Now, we do get rain tested, obviously. We've been rain tested all month.
Yeah.
We were really dry for the month of June, and we've been really wet for the month of July.
So how do you finance all of this?
So that's a great question. So it's actually, all the property that we're standing on is owned by the Brady brothers. And they have 100% paid off every building.
Wow.
So we actually are not financed on the buildings themselves because they are paid for up front.
Wow.
Yep. By Ryan, the Brady brothers.
Well, I would say business is good then.
Yeah, business is good, obviously, and we're planning for the future. For Ryan and Coley and the leadership and ownership here at Alliance, it's not about next month. It's not the month-end report. It's not about a year out, it's not about 5 years out, it's about 40 years out. What does it look like in 40 years? And we need this infrastructure if we're gonna be a top competitor in the next 40 years.
Okay.
Yep.
What's the goal, like in 5 or 10 years?
So, you know, our goal is not to be the largest manufacturer by any sense of the word. We don't want to be a Thor or a Forest River. We want to be the best in our segment, offering the highest quality product for its price point.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's going to be our goal probably for the next 100 years. Yeah, long after I'm gone. I'm 34, so I probably got like another at least 30 years of work left in me.
Okay.
So hopefully I'm here for another 30 years, and ask me that again in 30 years.
When RVs can fly, right?
Hey, yeah. They're hover. They hover.
All right.
You don't need a suspension system. Potholes are a thing.
Gosh, that would help.
But yeah, so that's kind of a look. So you saw PDI over there, right?
Right.
Look at how large PDI is here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we got a lot going on here.
Wow.
This is huge. You can see that,
Yeah.
that back gray wall. That's the rain bay. Things are going to come in, and they're actually going to get pulled in right here, and then they're going to run that way. This is going to be like storage and tools and whatnot. So when I started in July or January, this was dirt.
Wow, you guys are moving quick.
They're moving quick. So I'll open this door real quick so you can kind of see safely. Look how big that is.
Yeah.
So now you can see
Wow.
how 2 lines are going to run. And obviously we're still doing a lot of work in here, and it's not weather capped yet. So we've got a lot of rain, so it's a little wet right now, but it's concrete floor, so it can take it.
Well, it's interesting. You guys are expanding when everybody else is kind of cutting back, right?
Yep, we're expanding, we're growing, because again, that goes back into the Brady's vision where they're not necessarily looking at a month, a year, 5 years, they're looking at 40. And if we're gonna be a major brand in 40 years in our segments, you have to plan for the future. This will just be an observation window.
Okay.
So you can kind of see through the plant. Kind of it helps with openness, I mean, it's a huge plant, so you're not gonna feel congested at all. But when you have,
Yeah.
when you have a bunch of units in here and storage in here, so I believe the way it's gonna work is this is gonna be a line right here. The middle is gonna be storage and like countertops and things like that, and then that's gonna be a line over there. The two upper deck areas where you'll have additional storage, roof, things like that.
Do you know the cost on a building like this?
No. I will say this, the ownership, the Brady's, they come from accounting CPA backgrounds.
Okay.
And so they're not gonna make a decision unless they've thought and crunched the numbers. So they would not be doing this if this did not make sense for the 40-year plan. So hopefully come January, middle of January, this thing will be up and running with avenues.
That's a pretty quick build.
Yep, about a year, 1 year.
Wow.
Yeah. Alliance is known for its customer service, right? We work really hard with our dealership, our dealer partners, to make sure that they are given all the adequate supplies they need to take care of our customers. And it's their customer too, it's a mutual customer. But sometimes capacity is maxed and things need to come back to the plant. And right now we have 8 service bays, but we're about to turn that into 16. We have an additional 8 being built on this side. So that way we're gonna be able to help more customers as we grow, and our dealer body, we can take care of everyone and people feel really comfortable buying an Alliance because they know they're gonna be taken care of, whether that's at the dealer level or at our level. Here's the other side of plant 4, and then here are the 5 service bays, and then there's a couple that's gonna be added in the back.
Okay.
So this is gonna be 100% all service. One of our requirements for our dealer partners is making sure that they have adequate service bays. So that's something that we have put a lot of emphasis on, and our dealer body has been really supportive of that. So when you buy an Alliance, you can know you're gonna be taken care of. A huge plant.
Yeah,
I will say this.
no kidding.
I will sometimes take a break at lunch and I will walk out corporate and I'll walk down the back around Lamination, come back out, walk back over here, and it's like just over a mile.
Yeah, so you could definitely get your jogging in around here.
Oh, you could for sure, yeah. So I'll come take a nice 1 mile, a little over 1 mile walk every now and then to clear my head, get in a creative space. You can really see the progress, like a couple stations down, you can see the roof has slowly come together.
Like a time lapse.
Yep.
Joe, I am always amazed when I look at something like this, that literally you're making it from nothing into the whole RV in one. I know it's a huge building, but it still seems like small to do something that big.
Yeah,
It kind of blows me away.
It is cool. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Being in the industry now for just under 5 years, I've seen a lot of plants, I've seen a lot of different things, and seeing it at this level and this scale and the level of detail that the owners took into taking care of the customer, it's a whole nother level.
Yeah, I really like what you said about you've got how many people that pre-check everything?
Yeah. So you have depending on the time of day, there's anywhere from 6 to 10 quality control people running through with different colored tape. And
Wow.
they're putting all this quality control. They have little wood blocks that say do not move. And you have to respect that do not move block. And everyone does. It's been preached since day one.
That's like it's your job if you move that, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. If you move it, that's a big mistake. So don't move
Right.
those do not move blocks. We'll find one and get it on video.
And you know, that also has to, that seems to me like that's extra employees that maybe not every manufacturer puts into the process, right?
Quality control is definitely becoming a higher priority, even in other OEMs.
Okay.
But I would say from day one here, it's something that we implemented at max capacity.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's great because it's what, thousands and thousands of parts that go into an RV and a lot of eyeballs to make sure it all comes out
Yes.
the way it should.
Yes, 100%. So what the guys can do is they have to have a little bit of physical labor. They lift the AC, the solar, they get all the stuff, and then this machine actually takes it out there to minimize the stress on your body when they take it down.
Okay.
Well, otherwise, guys would have to lift this whole thing up, carry it out there.
Right.
Now imagine you're doing that all day long, your body gets fatigued, and what happens when you get fatigued? Mistakes.
Exactly.
So Ryan and Coley and the Brady brothers did a really great job on how can we improve the human body during the day, because they're going to be working long hours in hot and different kind of elements, minimize mistakes, and that's through minimizing fatigue. So we take care of them.
That is really cool.
Yep. And there's a couple of these that we have throughout here. Instead of having to carry, 1 or 2 sheets out at a time and throwing them on, they load up everything they need for one roof and then just simply pull it off. So again, minimizing fatigue, which means less room for air.
Right. This is rare then to have something like that.
Yeah, so something like this is rare because you had to pre-design it into the building.
Okay.
And our buildings are actually 12 feet higher than your standard manufacturing factory.
Okay.
So we went a little bit higher, which is why we're able to have this nice 4 or 5 inch thick cement down here and skylights throughout the room to let a lot more natural light. And then we were able to implement some things like this. Because some of the plants, they're too low. They couldn't put something like this in.
Yeah, that probably helps when you build your own building as opposed to finding something that's empty to move into.
Yes, exactly. You'll slowly see the progression get deconstructed because we started at the front of the plant.
Right.
There's something going on at each station. While some may look similar, there's just all kinds of different stuff happening. You can see they're running electrical here, and then it's kind of getting finalized. Electrical's good. Now they're working on the roof, right? They put the roof on. Next station, they seal the roof. They put the roof membrane on. Just keeps going. And then while they're working on the roof, they're also working inside of it too. That's why you have, 7 to 10 guys per station, so that way there's always something happening all day. On a Monday or Tuesday afternoon, you come in here, this place is buzzing with drills and hammers. It sounds good. You close your eyes and you're like, oh yeah, that's the sound of progress.
Right.
You'll see electrical, more storage. Just imagine being an inventory person having to make sure you count everything.
Yeah. No kidding.
When they constructed this plant, there was still a lot of development on how to build the roof going on. And so this is the only plant that we build in sections, the roof, where they have to carry the sections out. But there's 2 to 3 guys to a section. So again, minimizing the fatigue on the body.
Okay.
At the other plants we have, so 2, 3, and then 4, we actually implemented a hoist system similar down there where we build the roof in one whole piece and then they hoist it out and then all they do is level it. So over there it's a lot less work. It's a little more work over here. But we still give 2 to 3 guys to make sure that they safely put that roof on. This is the roof, kind of the system where they build the roof. You got the trusses, everything kind of laid out. And then they'll have like a 4 to 6 foot section that they'll have a couple guys walk out and carry it out there. And usually what they'll do, these 2 racks will actually be full of roofs. So the walls get made right behind that wall right there. There's a whole nother plant dedicated.
Okay.
It's like 120,000 square feet of lamination facility, and that's it.
Okay.
The walls get made over there, and I can walk you through that process. It's a whole different ballgame over there.
Sure.
So this is our lamination facility, dedicated lamination facility for the campus of Alliance for all brands. What's special about this facility though is we have a couple different lines inside of it so that they're only building that line, or we might separate it by day. So if they're one day you might be building only Paradigms, one day you might be only the Avenues. So they know what they're building each and every day. You're never mixing walls together. And this supplies all 3 plants. So, but I can tell you from other OEM standpoint, they have one lamination facility that supplies 10 to 20 plants. So we're only supplying 3 out of this right now.
Okay.
And it's quite the facility. It's state of the art, and Drew does a great job of running this facility.
Awesome.
So they're not running right now, so we can go ahead and take a walk through.
Sounds good.
Come in here. This is the break room. We like to give our employees really nice break rooms to have.
Oh yeah.
Take a step back and relax for the downtime they get. Give them nice vending machines, nice chairs, appliances. They can bring their food again. Water is key, so they always have free water. I know one of the guys in the marketing team wants to figure out how much aluminum we buy each year. Then do like a graphic stretching it to the moon or something. We have a custom metal fabrication shop, which you saw that little tan building in the beginning when I started the day out where Alliance was first started. That's now our metal fab and maintenance department.
Okay.
And so we metal fab all of our own custom shelving and systems that we need. So we built this like custom table to cut our aluminum on. So that way they know exactly where to cut it, and it makes it really nice and easy. Saved us a lot of money having that built in-house. There's 3 segments, essentially 4 segments. You got the aluminum cutting and framing, you got welding, you got the actual lamination process, and then you got the routing department.
Okay.
We'll walk our way through.
Cool.
So up here's where they cut the aluminum, get it to size. They use, these are like jigs basically, so that you get the exact size correct that come from engineering. So it's always guaranteed the exact same every single time. There's no room for error here. There's our tons of styrofoam for our insulation.
Oh wow, yeah.
And what's really cool about our lamination process, and a lot of people don't really think about it, but it's one of the most important processes that happen inside the RV build process. Because if you don't have a well-constructed wall, you're gonna have problems.
Yeah.
And so we put a lot of emphasis on making sure that the walls are as good as they ever are from any OEM. So once they get framed out, they actually get put over here. So this is the jig, so they know exactly how to cut and whatnot. These are actual, like over here and there and there. Those are actual walls that have been put together and welded. So this is our welding department right here. So they weld all the walls at these 2 stations, and then there's a 3rd station over there. And they will, you can kind of see all the welding equipment and the little burn marks. They weld everything together, they put it on carts, and then it gets put into the insulation department. So then the insulation team comes in here and they install the foam, the block foam, which has, I'll get you that R rating value, so we'll put it right here.
Okay.
But again, if you look over there, you'll see there's no gap in between all of the frames. So you're not gonna have any room for moisture or anything to build up in. Just allowing for a lot better fit. So here's where they're putting it all together, glue, taping, framing, getting it all done. Once it's in, they put it on, they move it from this cart, put it together, move it to that cart. It then gets pulled through this curtain right here. there's a reason this curtain exists.
Sure.
Yeah. Behind this curtain here is the actual lamination process, where we actually put all the pieces together. Because you have aluminum, you have Asdel, you have the actual frame, and then you have the glue that hold the fiberglass on. So you got to get it to stick, right? And that's a very important process. So you have to maintain a certain level of humidity. So with as humid as it is outside right now, step in here and feel it. It feels good, right?
Oh yeah.
Like I'm comfortable in here.
Very comfy in here.
Yes. So if you notice, it's kind of hard to see. There's these little hooks that go opposite directions. So look. Right
Okay,
above,
I see one. Yeah.
See it? Yep.
Yeah.
That's a water mister.
Really?
Yep.
I see
can kinda see it,
something
yeah.
right there.
Sticking out right below that blue, the blue air compression line.
Sure.
There are little water misters. that are
Okay.
in this spread across this area, and they actually go out here a little bit and out there a little bit.
Okay.
To make sure that it stays, because obviously the curtain's not 100% sealed. But we have it. There's actually sensors every so often that sense the humidity in this room, because once it comes through this wall, they lay it on this table, and that's a wall that's going to get moved over here, laid on this table. This looks like a air hockey table.
Right.
Air blows up underneath it.
Okay.
And then this is your actual fiberglass right here. And then we have Asdel as well. So what they'll do is they'll run the sheets of Asdel, which are behind this glue machine right here.
Okay.
They run it through the glue machine, then they take it, and the glue, there's a lot of engineering and science behind glue.
Right.
Who would have known? But it's a special glue that is perfectly distributed on the sheet of Asdel. And Asdel is a composite material that's is 50% more insulating factor than wood, than Luan. It's rot, mold, and mildew resistant.
Okay.
So
not
sometimes-
everybody uses it
Not
then.
ever. No, Asdel
Okay.
is few and far between in manufacturing.
Okay.
It costs a little bit more, but you get what you pay for with it. So you're getting a higher quality product. So what they do then is they bring that over here. They actually lay the sheets of Asdel on first. This is a sheet of Asdel right here. So look at it. It's a polymer material, and then there's like
Okay.
this black backing here. It's lighter than wood. Like I'm picking up this whole sheet by myself, easy, right? Where if that was a sheet of plywood, I mean, I could probably pick it up, but not manhandle it like this.
Right.
So they bring it, they set it through that machine. I can't tell you exactly how many pieces go down. Trey, if you watch this, Trey, tell me, comment below. They lay it on, and then they roll that sheet of fiberglass for the exterior, and then it goes through this pinch roller right here. I don't recall the PSI off the top of my head, but it's a lot of pressure. It rolls through, and then they have a couple guys over here that bring it out. They lay it on this cart right here, and then it has to cure for 24 hours in this room.
Okay.
So right when they bring it off, it cannot leave these curtains for 24 hours. So
Okay.
you'll see a bunch of stuff kind of lined up. So the stuff you see behind that curtain means that it's been in this room for 24. They can't touch that for another 48. So we have to have a cure time of 72 hours. So 24 inside the acclimated control, correct humidity. So that way we can guarantee the right glue, chemical bonding.
Right. Because I know delamination is a big deal
Yeah.
in the RV industry.
It is. And that was one thing that when Ryan and Coley started the company, they set out and found one of the best guys in the industry, Drew, to come in and really perfect the process.
Okay.
So they did it right. They do the right thing is the name of the game at Alliance, and they did it right. And so there's a lot of you're probably going to be like, oh well, vacuum bonding is better or pinch rolling is better, and really it doesn't matter if you vacuum bond or pinch roll. That's not the process. That's not the thing that matters. The thing that matters is the cure time and the bonding that happens with the chemicals. Because if the chemical reaction doesn't work, that's what causes delay.
Okay.
And so what can happen, and why you saw that, is when they build too fast, they don't have the climate control, they don't have the humidity control, they don't have the sensors. They run it, either they pinch roll it or they vacuum bond it, doesn't matter, and then they route it right away, and then they ship it within an hour.
Wow.
That is where, because if all of a sudden you you pinch roll or you vacuum bond your wall, right? And then you route it right after it comes out. And then you literally put it on a cart and it's getting driven in this temperature over to another plant 20, 40 miles away.
Sure, you're gonna have some problems.
Whereas here, like I said, it's not leaving these curtains for 24 hours after it's been pinch rolled. So don't, and you can do your own research, but I've put a lot of time into this. The vacuum bond versus the pinch roll is not the thing to look at. Ask your OEM or your sales rep or your dealer, how long did it stay within the acclimated, controlled room after the chemical bonding process of the glue? That's what matters.
Interesting. That's a good tip.
So for Alliance, 24 hours inside the room, 48 outside the curtain. 72 hours of cure time total in a weather-controlled building. So then what happens is the final part of it after it's been pinch rolled sits here and then gets pushed under. You have these walls that they're going to actually sit over here all weekend because they probably were done yesterday. So they probably got pushed over this morning. So these walls are going to sit all weekend. But basically what would happen is this wall would have to be here for another 2 days, and they wouldn't cut this. So say this got pushed over Monday morning from freshly getting pinch rolled, they wouldn't be able to touch it for 24 hours or 48 hours. Because then once that happens, they move it into the actual routing department. So see that stack over there? That's the stack they're going to do on Monday.
Okay.
They're going to route all that. And they can probably route this too because of the way the weekend is, so it had plenty of time to cure.
Right.
So they'll have all these walls to do the next couple days. And then by the time they're done with these, there'll have already been some that have been sitting here for 24 hours, just kind of keeping the process going. So then they route all the walls, and then the walls get put on these racks, these transport carts. And the transport carts, they don't even have to go a mile.
Right.
Not even a quarter mile.
Yeah, close.
Directly to the plant. And then they just get pulled right in their plant. So they're not outside at all in this condition. They're just put straight into a plant. They don't see rain or any type of outside weather elements except for the short transport time, which is less than 5 minutes.
Right, because that could lead to some issues too, couldn't it?
It could, yeah, 100%. So say, in other OEMs, say they pull the wall off, they route it, they frame it, they send it off for a 20-mile drive inside, 100% humidity weather, or if it's storming, or if it's, snowy, whatever. There can be issues.
You're literally getting walls that already have some damage.
Potentially.
Yeah. Wow. Never thought of that. And it's just stuff you don't think of. So
yeah, that's why I said lamination's such an underrated piece of the build. You don't really think about it until you're like, oh,
yeah.
I see it now.
Yeah.
So this is a really important step as part of Alliance. This is one of our most important build processes we do. So we put a lot of emphasis on making sure we do it right here. And then, like I said, once it's ready, it goes to the plant takes it and they use it on the line. And then the next time that'll see weather is when it gets pulled outside for some final finish. It'll have graphics and everything by then.
Cool.
And then they get brought here and you'll see it says the VIN. So this is the last 4 digits of the VIN. So they know that this is the VIN that wall goes to because it's also written on the chassis. And then what's really cool is on the slide out boxes, they're not fully cut out yet because they get cut, they finish them here. The slide out department that's right behind you, that wall actually matches the slide out. So if there's any discoloration in fiberglass, which can happen roll to roll. So some rolls can be a little bit wider, a little bit grayer. You never know, even if you buy from the same person. So to make sure that there's no color mismatch at all, the exterior slide out wall is going to be the exact same one that was originally laid. So there's no color distinction.
Okay.
And then that also helps minimize waste as well. Because I know at other manufacturers, what they'll do is they'll just route the whole wall, and then they'll build a separate sidewall at the time, and just throw that big piece away, which is unfortunate.
Right.
So the walls get hooked on to a big hoist. A guy presses the button up here, and then it's lifted up, and then it's super easy. They just push it over. It's super light then. I mean, one person, one hand can push it over.
Oh, wow.
And then once they get it down, they secure the wall. And once the wall's secured, they will remove the hoists, and then it just slowly gets pushed over. And oh, here's something really cool you can see. You can actually see the laminated, so this is the aluminum wall with styrofoam in between. And a lot of people were asked, well, why do you guys use styrofoam? Feel that, Tom. Feel how firm that is. That's not your standard packing.
Right.
Delicate stuff that's just gonna like crumble and break in your
Right, really good insulation.
Very dense, great insulation. Also, notice how there's no gap there. If we had just regular insulation here, sometimes what will happen at other manufacturers is there'll be a 1-inch gap at certain spots, you know, randomly throughout.
Right.
Whenever you have gaps in your insulation, that leaves room for water, moisture, and things like that. Now we're using aluminum, so we're not worried about that. But if this was a wood constructed wall and you had a gap right there and water buildup, that wood is just gonna rot. So no rot, no mold. We also use the Adsdale sidewalls, which is double the insulation of wood. It's rot, mold, and mildew resistant.
How many other manufacturers use aluminum?
So there are several that have started to go to aluminum, and there's several different types of build. You know, we weld ours, but there are other manufacturers that will actually screw theirs. Takes a lot more time, but also can allow for more jiggle. So right now, as far as every brand in the whole company being aluminum constructed, consistently building the walls the exact same way, rather that goes from our travel trailer to our Paradigm or Valor, you're going to get consistent. No other manufacturer's doing that.
Okay. And who does your frame?
So our frames at the Valor plant are Lippert.
Okay.
Yep. So all of our chassis are Lippert chassis. So then as you keep going, you can see here's the garage, right, or the walls. So no walls. We got the floors put on. Something really cool. I don't know if you can see it here. You know, in our garages. So we do this in our Avenue line and our Valor line. This is actually a composite material subfloor. So that way it's rot, mold, and mildew resistant. Because you're going to be putting all kinds of weight on here, toys in here, water's going to spill. You might be racing dirt bikes in the rain and you're going to come put them in at the end of the race day. We don't want this floor to ever fail on us. So we give you it's 50% stronger than wood, and you're going to have zero rot, mold, or anything like that happens to wood.
Wow.
Yeah. And this is something we're also putting into our Avenue product as well. So you're having a subfloor, 100% composite floor across the board on Avenue. This is our plumbing department. So they're kind of pre-organizing all the fixtures and getting everything dialed in, moving over here. Actually, this is really cool. You can kind of see it. So we redid the water manifold system this year to where you can control every single plumbing shutoff valve. No matter what. So instead of we've always had water shutoff valves at every plumbing location, but this year for Valor, we said, why don't we give them one spot to control everything?
So this is an original for you guys.
This is an original. It was a customer-driven idea, so it actually came from a customer.
Okay.
A couple customers that were like, hey, we love you guys' water shutoff valves at every location. It's great, but sometimes it's like in between. And so we were like, let's just give them one spot, control everything.
That's cool.
Yep. One ring to control them all, right?
What I like about hearing that story, Joe, is that you listen to one customer has an idea and you implement it.
Yep.
I mean, that's not what I typically think of the RV industry, that stuff has been done kind of the same way for a long, long time, and there's some resistance to change.
Yep.
So, you know, that's awesome.
Yeah, gotta give kudos to Ryan Foley, Jeremiah, and Ab, and the rest of the sales team. They work tirelessly out at shows and at dealership lots and working promos and all these different things. And not only, and then the marketing team, we're on social all the time, but so are Ryan and Foley, so is Bill Martin, so are those guys. So it's not just one person, it's a collective, it's a teamwork effort where we all are constantly paying attention.
Right.
And so if you guys do say something on social media, we're gonna hear you, we're gonna see it more than likely. And if it's a great idea, we're probably gonna contact you or let you know that we're doing something with it.
That's awesome.
And obviously we can't implement every single idea that's given to us.
Sure.
So we're gonna take the stuff that will be scalable. and then fully implement it in. And we can't implement it, you know, mid-model year, so we have to sometimes wait a full year
Right.
before we implement that in.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like I said, relentless improvement. So right now they have this unit pulled in here because they're probably doing some work on it. But usually this is where the chassis rolls in. They actually have this big machine right here, flips it over, and then instead of them laying on the ground on carts working, they're able to work upright and do everything they need to do to the underbody.
Wow.
And then they flip it back right, they push it over here, they put it on the rollers, and then they start rolling it down the line.
Okay.
You know, like our chassis, we're the only manufacturer, like I'll show you really quick. This is a really good spot to see it, because then we reinforce it with some foam, but this little V-shackle that's in between here increases the strength of the axle chassis by, it's some ridiculous number. I'll get you the official number so you can put it on screen. But we're the only manufacturer that includes that in the design of this chassis.
Yeah, I had one bust on my RV, so
And if you would have had that, I wouldn't have had it.
yeah.
So there's a little steel piece that's shaped like a V.
Right. Another example of a small improvement, big result.
Yep, and that's kind of what we're always doing. Tank heaters on every tank. We also reinforce our tanks with steel. So we're the only manufacturer that will we actually say, hey, drive with full tanks, it's totally fine.
Okay. It's like the RV industry is full of all of these things that, yeah, don't ever drive with full tanks. It's like, well, why put a 50-gallon tank if you can only put 25 gallons in it? It's like...
And we also increased the size of our freshwater tank to 93 gallons. I think actually on Valor it's 101 gallons.
Okay.
And
yeah.
you can fully drive with it full because you might be boondocking. And who wants to get where they're going and have to stop at a gas station, fill up with a hose if they have water, find a good water source, fill it up, go to your spot.
Yeah, water's a thing, and right, the toy haulers are made to go out and boondock and play, and you need lots of water
And
for that.
not even toy haulers. People are boondocking in everything nowadays.
Yeah.
So we want to be able to give you that spot because we know campsites are full, and it's hard to find campsites sometimes, and sometimes you're like, I need to go camp in that Cracker Barrel, but you want to take a shower.
Right. Yeah, well, free camping's the best.
Yeah, I agree there. So what's cool, they don't have one right now, but at this, maybe not at this point, but at some point when it gets here, if this was a customer's unit, there's going to be a little slip that goes in it that has the Alliance logo, and everybody that works here signs it.
Oh, cool.
So, you know, a couple times a week I'm signing these papers, and then they get brought to wherever they're supposed to go.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's a nice touch.
Another little thing, but it goes a long way, is like this is your standard, it's like compression board wood right here for the upper deck, because it's a lot less likely to have any water leak. But we still wrap it with this polymer plastic, just in case there is some type of water issue.
Okay.
To help keep the wood nice and dry. Here's our cabinet shop. So we're building all of our cabinets in-house. They do a great job. They get everything kind of pre-ready. You're going to find some guys that are here working today. This is kind of back to that family-oriented thing. So it's Friday. We typically don't run full force on Fridays as of right now, but some of the guys may have needed to take doctor's appointments or go to their kids' softball, baseball, soccer games, stuff like that. And so they'll take a little bit of time off, and they're coming in today to kind of finish what they missed. So just kind of that flexibility, and you don't find that in the manufacturing space almost at all.
And all of your cabinets are soft close, right?
And Valor, yeah, so Valor this year, and Paradigm, and Avenue, and Delta, all across the board at Alliance, we now have soft close cabinets.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's like, oh, that was like only in like the top of the line luxury RVs before. So that's awesome. You guys are doing that.
Yep. Sometimes little features go a long way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, here, gotcha. Here, remember that wood block I told you about?
Oh yeah.
This one says plumbering. I don't know why. But, so this wood block essentially means do not move. I don't know. There's some inside joke between the plant workers.
Right. Is that a real word?
It's not a real word, but it definitely means do not move this unit until this block is removed.
Okay.
It's this magnet, and every plant worker at Alliance, no matter the plant you're at, they respect this. because this is something that's universal across the board. I've seen some that are like painted and decorated, and they like take it home with them one day, and yeah, it's pretty funny.
Well, it's nice to have a game around making better quality stuff.
Yep.
It makes it fun, and it's not drudgery.
Yeah.
Let's have fun with making great quality RVs.
Yep. And we're about having fun here. We're not super corporate. We're real people too. We build the RVs that you guys camp in, and we want to camp with you guys too. We do at the rally. Make sure you buy an Alliance.
Right.
The Alliance rally. It's a lot of fun.
I have to say, your plant looks really organized.
It is, kudos to the plant managers. For Plant 1, it's Adam Morningstar. Plant 2 is Kevin Odell. Plant 3 is Ben Randall. And then we're working on Plant 4 right now to figure out who that's going to be. But those guys run a really tight ship. They do a great job making sure that everyone feels comfortable, and they do a great job keeping things clean.
Yeah, I mean, I just hardly anything on the floor here.
Yeah.
I mean, it is clean.
This is what it looks like at the end of every day. Like, there's still going to be debris. They're building units. There's going to be sawdust. There's going to be some things. People drop stuff.
Right.
You can't keep it perfect, but they keep it clean and organized so that's not safe.
The other side of the closet.
Yes.
The side that nobody ever sees.
Yes. Here's a really good example. Do not roll back half. So this is just a little wood block that pops right off. The quality control person for this station slaps it on.
Okay.
Now this will not move until she comes through and is like, all the things that were addressed were fixed. And then she'll move it, and then she'll kind of stay in this section over here.
So the person that puts that up actually has to be the one to remove it. Somebody else can't do that.
No one else. She's the only one that can remove it.
Okay, well that makes sense.
You get in trouble if you remove it and you're not that person.
Okay.
Yep. So one thing we do here at Alliance is obviously we care about our employees. The leadership here, Ryan and Coley, Bill, the guys that started the company, they put a lot of effort into making sure that people want to work here. We had like around a 97% retention rate after the Christmas shutdown.
Wow.
Which is unheard of in this industry.
I was going to say, when you talked about retention of your employees, I mean, I've heard stories about just kind of bad retention between the manufacturers around this area because there's so much work available, or at least there used to be.
Yep.
And you could, just not show up to work one day and go to work for somebody else.
Correct.
But, that you have 97% retention, I mean, that seems unheard of.
It is. And kudos to the leadership here, because they're doing something special. And I think it goes into the whole, you're not just a number. You're not just a number. You know, people care about you. We do something called Manufacturing Monday. Okay. Every Monday, the marketing team comes out into the plants and we talk to someone that's been nominated for kind of just doing exceptional work. And it's people, that are just on, one day I did someone in the cabinet shop. She doesn't speak very much English, but she crushes it every day. There's ladies that go around and, clean the facilities, and they have to deal with some stuff, and they are, they're here in and out, and they've been here since day one for helping clean the plants. So it's a whole thing dedicated to making sure that the employees feel taken care of, not just at the production level, but at every level across the board.
And it's one person every Monday, or it's
one person? Yeah, we do one person every Monday.
Okay.
Yep. We got a couple new series coming out focusing on the women at Alliance.
Okay.
Yeah, because
very cool.
As a manufacturer, based on size, so like Thor and Forest River are bigger than us, but as far as the number of women we have compared to our size, we have more women that work in production than any other manufacturer.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And how many employees do you have now?
So we're about 600 right now across the board.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So I can see you're growing so fast because I Googled how many employees does Alliance have. It said 112. It's wow, that number is way off.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We got to figure out where Google got that information.
Yeah. But that could just be a few years ago, right?
Yeah, exactly. Back in probably when we first started, they probably hired 100 people right off the bat.
Wow.
And then we just keep going on. But keep talking about our employees, right? So break rooms is something that you need. We give them all their own dedicated lockers if they want to use it, that they can lock their phones or anything precious that they bring to work. And then we give them this great break room. Now, obviously, we've had crap weather the past couple of days.
Sure.
So it's a little bit wet in here. But what's awesome is we give you all your vending machines, really nice facilities for restrooms. And then we put these garage doors in, and we'll have cookouts. And, you know, the sales guys, Ryan and Coley will be back here grilling tacos.
Oh, nice.
Let a lot of the natural light in. People will just come and hang out here. We create kind of a really inviting space for them versus just like a little dingy room in the back corner of a plant.
Right. No, this is really cool.
We have fresh water, right? So if they want to refill the water, it's filtered, really nice quality water. So they bring water bottles, whatever, they can fill that up for free. If they prefer to have some snacks or anything, we want that. There's food trucks that come at every break.
Nice.
Come and get some food. So if you ever forget to pack your lunch, you're covered.
Well, hydration is a thing, so.
Especially in the hot weather. Because, you know, we do our best to keep it's a climate controlled plant, but obviously doors are opening and closing and stuff, and so
right.
you get a little bit on the hotter end, a little bit on the colder end. So definitely always stay hydrated. And we make that a priority for our team. See that little like claw looking machine? That actually is a suction cup machine that suctions onto the front caps here, and then one person can lay the front cap.
Really?
Yeah. So. At other manufacturers, you'll see that they'll actually lift. There'll be like two guys that lift it on and place it. Front caps can get damaged. That's a lot of physical work. Those things are not light by any sense of the word.
No.
You have two big, strong guys lifting it up and putting it on. Mistakes can happen. So we have one person that just sets it, gets it all ready, presses a button, it raises up, pushes it over. Super easy. My 8-year-old could probably do it as long as she
wow.
So that kind of keeps going into Alliance and the leadership. They really went into a lot of attention to detail to make sure we're taking care of our employees, so that they have, not only are they successful in what they do, and we encourage them to keep working, but they feel good when they go home and they're not just tired to the max, so they can actually enjoy time with their family as well.
How long is a shift then?
We do a piece rate, just pretty much like the rest of the industry does. So there's a goal of number of units that you want to build in a day. But our start time is 6 a.m. here, whereas other plants are sometimes 4 or 5 a.m. So we're a whole hour or 2 hours later. And then the team is typically done right around lunchtime.
Okay.
Sometimes, depending on the day. Sometimes they'll run as late as about 2. But usually by 2 o'clock, this place is a desert.
Okay.
Something else that's cool, all the speakers and stuff you see, those are supplied by Alliance.
Okay.
So, it's funny because depending on the day, you can have like rock and roll, you can have rap, and then you can have like Mexican music, and you can have all different kinds of genres across every plant.
Sure.
Walking through one single plant, it's quite the musical experience.
Okay.
Here's one. Look at that. Someone decorated.
Oh, wow.
It's really nice. So this is another stop block, and this person went to the detail of painting it. Right here is your final finish. So this is the last unit before it goes out the door. So this means that it's completed from the plant side. There might be some missing parts depending on supply issues, or a couple little things here and there. You're still gonna have some quality things, so whoever has the yellow tape noticed something right there, and so they're gonna have a QC person that's gonna have to address this. I don't know what it is.
I see something very small right there.
Like that? That
Wow.
wasn't even it.
Oh, okay. That wasn't it.
I don't know what it is, but they know something that I don't. They
Wow.
were trained.
Well,
So
the
our-
level of detail.
So Joe Martin is in charge of our quality across the board. And he has a team, his team's, like I said, 4 to 6 people per plant. And they meet and they go through rigorous training. He'll spend 2 to 3 weeks with one person, just walking them through all the stuff they have to focus on. And then they have videos and all the stuff that the market team works with them on. So right here's final finish. It's coming through. It's gonna get put out the door. So the tanks are actually filled kind of mid-line, and then they're moved about 10 stations with full tanks. So, you know, we're talking about you can drive with full tanks, so we're moving them through the plant with full tanks. And then it's still full right now in this position. When they pull it out, they'll drain it. And it's just water, just everyday common water. So they drain it and then it drains, so it's always wet right when you walk out this door right here.
Well, that makes sense because I'm just going to guess why you do that is to check for leaks.
Yep, check the tanks, make sure the tanks are secure. It's just a little thing that, why not fill them when they're in the plant so we can guarantee that it's not going to leak when it gets to the dealership.
Is that typical for?
No, typically what you'll find at other OEMs is they will take one unit to a facility to fill it up, or they'll fill it up at one station and then drain it at that station. And so they don't get to move it and see if there's any, you know, maybe there was a plumbing line that was secure, but they moved it and it bumped, right?
Right.
So now you're moving 10 stations, but that's a lot of shaking, and then it gets lifted on a forklift and moved and then filled again over here with our smoke test. And then one of the really cool things I like to talk about when I'm up here is that sign up there. That's our core values. So relentless improvement, you know, there's always room to get better. We're devoted to relationships, which I can speak to personally. I have a family, and sometimes I need to go home to my family. And so I can just say, hey, got a jet a little early today, and people out in the plant can do the same thing because we truly care about the people. They're not just a number here. And then our last value is customer obsessed. You know, what's better to be customer obsessed and always improve the product? Because we know we're not perfect, but we're going to do our absolute best to be. And then last of all, do the right thing. Is it the right thing to do? If it is, we're going to do it.
Well, Joe, wow, you have just blown my mind here in just a few hours. I've done some tours before, but the attention to detail, you're listening to the customer, that endless pursuit of perfection, I think still that from that automaker. But yeah, just like I'm blown away by what you guys are doing.
Yep.
So. And I'm really proud to be able to feature you guys on our channel because we feel like we're advocates for the RV owner.
Yep.
Like we've been advocating for better built RVs since the beginning, since our very first RV, and having challenges with that. We are just really happy to help share this message of what you guys are doing. And I mean, this is what everybody should be doing.
You know, we relate with your message that you just said. Like, we want to make sure the customers have the best. One of our mission statements is customer obsessed. And we are. We want to give you the best product that you can possibly find in the sector.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for all of these tours and just, blown away. So super cool.
Yes. Well, come back anytime. And if you guys want to come do a tour, reach out to us. Go to our website, lionsrv.com. You can schedule one there. Or if you want to come film your own video, we have an open camera policy. So come film a video with us.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because that is also not normal.
Not normal at all.
You know, I've walked in with cameras blazing at another manufacturer and like, oh, nope, can't do that. Actually, 2 now that I think about it. And it's like, why can't you film, right? What are you hiding? And so that is something that is unusual. Yep. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, we got nothing to hide.
Awesome.
Yep.